recently I realized that pages in a book kind of turn me on. Excuse me? Hot people read, confirmed by the Hayley herself. Am I wearing the exact same thing I was in my other video? Yes, but guess what? I like this dress and I think I look cute, so let's keep the look. Hi everyone, I'm Hayley. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to things because it's fun. Yeah, so I just decided I would go on to various websites and just look at bookish struggles, bookish confessions. I was gonna start with Reddit, but then I opened up Tumblr and I was like, why not just start at the original hell site? You know, before I get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Join my book club on Fable. Download the Fable app and join my book club. It's Dangerous Woman Book Club. Follow me on Fable. You can make your own clubs. It's a really wonderful app. Goodreads is a mess. It's a mess. Let's all go to Fable. Let's get into the confessions. Before we continue on with the video, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Book of the Month. I'm going to tell you all about Book of the Month because they're great and I've worked with them many times before and y'all need to know about them. Book of the Month is a super popular and fast-growing online book service. Their mission is to promote new and emerging authors and help readers discover books they love. Every month, their teams vet hundreds of books and curates a list of new and early release titles so that you can spend less time researching and more time reading. Book of the Month is risk-free, so you can skip any month, anytime, and you will not be charged. They have the best price for new release hardcover fiction. You can get your first book for just $9.99 with the code Hayley. Book of the Month is especially great because it's way cheaper. Like you get new, sometimes early release books, all hardcover for just $9.99 for your first book, which is an insanely good deal because most adult hardcover books are almost $30. So the fact that Book of the Month is going to give you some of their best picks for $9.99 is a literal steal. Click the link in my description, use my code Hayley, and sign up. Their November picks look super good, so I'm going to tell you all about them. Their contemporary fiction pick is A Little Hope by Ethan Joella, an ode to the beauty of the everyday. This novel traces the losses, loves, and dreams of a small Connecticut town. You know what this book is going to do? It's going to break my heart and put it back together, and that's what I'm here for. Their young adult pick, The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. Ren Scarborough is on a journey to impress the goddess of death in this riveting story of monsters, magic, and reapers. I mean, are you kidding? When I tell you I added this book on my TBR a few weeks ago, and then I opened up my Book of the Month box and I saw this book in there, I almost screamed. I was like, oh my God, it's like the book gods knew exactly what I wanted. I love a book that deals with death as a power and as an entity. It's just so cool. I can't wait to read this one. Their thriller pick, The Collective by Allison Galen. Hell hath no fury like a mother scorned in this propulsive story of rage, injustice, and the limits of revenge. This sounds exactly like a Dangerous Murderous Woman book, and it's a thriller. Y'all know there's going to be violence involved, and if it's a woman taking revenge and being violent, that's exactly what I'm into. Their historical fiction pick, The Family by Naomi Krapisky. Set in mid-century Brooklyn, a story of a decades-long friendship between two women bound by the sins of their fathers. The sins of their fathers? I wonder what those sins are. Their romance pick, How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days by K.M. Jackson. Two friends take a wild road trip to stop the world's most eligible bachelor from making a big mistake, getting married. First of all, this cover is stunning. Black girl magic and a dog. I'm going to talk about Book of the Month's add-ons. In addition to the monthly pick, you can add up to 2 extra books. I have 2 add-ons. One is My Body, which is a collection of essays by Emily Ratajkowski, and then I have a Will Smith memoir. I feel like we only know Emily Ratajkowski for her face and her body, so I feel like this book, which is like personalized essays, which I already love. Like I love reading personalized essays. Like we're really going to get an insight into who she is as a person. If any of these books sound interesting to you, or if Book of the Month sounds interesting to you, then click the link in my description and use my code Hayley to get your first book for $9.99. Thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into the confessions. Okay, first confession. I can't read. Honestly, same. I don't get the fuss with hardcover books. They're substantially more expensive than paperback, and unless I'm desperate, I generally refuse to buy hardcover copies. I mean, that's fair. They are expensive and they take up a lot of space, but I, as a book collector, like them because they look pretty. I have managed to severely damage my copies of the Harry Potter series by reading them in the bathtub and occasionally dropping them in. Multiple of them have their covers coming off, pages lose lots of water damage. Don't come for me. No, I'm gonna come for you because that's amazing. I applaud you. It's exactly what those books deserve. Thank you for your service. Okay, this is about the Darkling and Alina, which I don't like them. We know that. This is an argument about why Dark Lena is so compelling. A well-worn analysis, but I'll say it anyway. Their relationship is so compelling because he sees her as both a tool to increase his own political power and as his only true equal, and these two viewpoints conflict with each other, and he's forced to choose which is more important, a partner or power, and he chooses power. Now, that is how you write a villain romance. But that person makes it sound so much cooler than I feel like it's actually depicted in the series. By the way, I never watched the show, so don't even ask me about that. Book boyfriends are becoming less toxic and more what you actually should look for in a partner, and I'm loving that trend. Give me emotionally vulnerable, willing to communicate, nice to people other than protagonists, caring, supportive, non-manipulative partners. This is really interesting because I feel like we're still riding the wave of we love villains, and they're all toxic. Like, is that not the point of villains? So I don't know if I agree with this. I mean, I definitely see more people acknowledging toxicity in characters, but everyone still loves villains. So I don't know if this is the case, at least not for me. I mean, I'm not a villain lover, but I mean, from what I see on Twitter, I can see a lot of people still are. I'm an avid reader and a self-proclaimed bookworm, but I haven't read any of the classics. I haven't read a single Jane Austen or Charles Dickens or Bronte. I sort of feel like a bit of a fraud for lack of a less dramatic word, but at the same time, I don't feel guilty. I just struggle to connect to them and the way in which they're written. I know that probably makes me uncultured, but I know that I would only probably understand them if I studied them in class, but it's a bit late now because I don't study English anymore. I feel like a lot of people feel this way. I actually have read James Austen. Who is James? Hi, sisters! I have read Jane Austen. I read Pride and Prejudice, and I am interested in reading more of her books, and I actually really like a lot of the classics, but I think that it's kind of weird how there's this pressure to only read classics or literary fiction to be considered a good reader, and there's a bit of elitism surrounding that idea. You're not a fraud if you don't like to read classics, and I mean, I think it makes perfect sense that you don't connect with them. A lot of them were written many years ago before you're even born. And I know for me as a Black woman, a lot of the like really popular classics are written by white men, and I don't relate to them and I don't like them. I mean, I think that like if you want to read them, like read them. If you think you're not going to understand them, I mean, I picked up a Toni Morrison book and read it on my own. Did I understand it? Hell no. But I had a good time because I love Toni Morrison. And what I do is I just go online and look up the things that I don't understand, because I do that with everything. The internet. It's such a wonderful place. But yeah, I mean, no pressure. Just read what you want. Doesn't make you any less of a reader if you're not reading what people say you should read, or if you're not reading classics or literary fiction. I hate that assumption. I hate that idea. I think it's so stupid. I think it's pretentious and annoying. And everyone should just read whatever they want. Do what makes you happy. Life's too short to be worried about what other people want. I do recommend, though, if you want to get into classics but you're feeling like you can't relate to those, I don't know like what your identity is, but for me, I find that the classics that I tend to like better are the ones that I think I can relate to more. So reading Black woman authors, Parable of the Sower, Their Eyes Were Watching God, Beloved, The Bluest Eye. Like Toni Morrison, read closer to what you identify with, I think might help, because I feel like a lot of classic literature, their narrative is definitely more focused on the writer and their belief. Back in that day, it's very much close to what the author is experiencing and how they feel as a human. So maybe read classics written by people that you can better identify with, if you want to. Not telling you what to read, but you kind of sound like you want to read classics. And it doesn't make you uncultured. Like, just read what you want. There are so many people in my life who don't read at all. Like, the fact that you are reading, doesn't matter what you're reading. Like, you're reading. That's amazing. Some people don't even like to crack open a book, which, I mean, that's fine. They have other things they want to do, but I'm just saying, like, don't call yourself uncultured for reading. You're amazing if you read. Hot people read, okay? Hot people read. Confirmed by the Hayley herself. Like, yes, I am a person who is constantly reading and whose identity and personal history are irrevocably tied to the concept of stories and my experiences as an avid reader. But it's still weird to me when people talk about their love for books. I spend 90% of my free time reading books by choice, by free choice. And most days I don't even like books as a concept. What does that mean? No, I'm confused. You read, but like you don't like books? Hold on, there's another confession. I have never ever as an adult read a novel I wasn't rewriting in my head the entire time I was reading. Even my favorite novels, especially my favorite novels. Wait, that's the villain origin story of fanfic writers. Oh, that's so interesting. Do you guys reread books while you're reading them? Like, do you not reread? Do you rewrite them in your... I've never heard that before. Wait, I'm confused. Am I stupid or is this actually confusing? They're saying they don't like books as a concept. They spend time reading. And oh wait, they just mean reading things. Like they don't read books. Confirmed. I don't understand anything. It's been 2 weeks and I still don't understand what that person was saying. Like, can someone please help me out? Okay, so, okay. They're an avid reader, but they don't like books. Okay, got it. It's weird when people talk about their love for books. Why is that weird? You're reading in other mediums. Let them read their books. Mainstream young adult, especially fantasy, is going in circles. Currently, I have trouble finding new and original ideas, which is why I'm drifting away from it and turning to other genres. My most recent push away from the young adult series was The Rose and the Dagger. I had to DNF at 70% because I hated it so much. I missed my old reading joys in young adult because I find that generally the YA style is more fun and entertaining than a lot of adult fiction, but if the content isn't right, take care. Oh, never mind, that's not. I thought, whatever. I mean, that's interesting. And I would say I agreed for a while. And I always say, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm kind of moving away from YA. But I'm finding that YA is becoming like super, super diverse with like representations of different sexualities, different races, different genders. I used to say like, oh, I don't really want to read YA anymore. But then 90% of the sapphic books I've been reading have been YA. And they've been fantastic. I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to write off an entire age range and genre. Here's the thing. I feel like maybe you just need to diversify your reading, because I felt the same way when I was reading a lot of YA fantasy books written by straight white people, but I started reading by non-white authors and non-straight stories, and everything felt brand new. If you feel like things are going in circles, read about those things from a different point of view. It feels different, even if it's like the same trope technically. If it's a Black person's take on a trope that it was originally like dominated by white people, I feel like you're gonna be amazed by how different it can feel. That's just my reaction to that. But I don't know, because I feel like I kind of had the same thoughts like a little bit ago, but then I realized that I was just reading kind of all the same stories, like unintentionally, because a lot of the stories that are pushed out into my face and shoved down my throat are white stories and straight stories. So I just kind of go off my own. And I'm glad to see that a lot of Black authors specifically are getting more recognition, and like they've been popping up on the bestsellers list, and I'm really happy for them because it's what they deserve. Because this person says that like they like the way that YA stories are written, and also like I just saw a tweet about how adult stories are not that daunting anymore. You know how a lot of people just assume that adult fantasy is just so dense and too like detail oriented, and it's just not written in a fun way like YA is? You can find books, adult fantasy books, that are not written that way. I promise you, you can find books that kind of like read like YA fantasy but have like adult content, if that makes sense. You just gotta look for them. They exist. You guys, I'm trying to find more confessions. They're literally all ACOTAR. It's all, how do you feel about anti-inner circle? How do you feel about anti-Reese? They're supposed to be bookish opinions, not Reese-hand opinions. I haven't read in like a month and I feel rubbish for it. You know what? I see so many people talking about this all the time, and I have to say something. I think that internet bookish culture has really affected the way that most of us read. I noticed it with myself. I feel like if I don't read a book in a day or two, I am a failure, which is actually ridiculous, because there are people that have not read a book in years. They don't want to read a book ever. And I get that if you have, you know, standards for yourself, like, oh, I want to read a book a week or at least a book a month. Now I understand, like, maybe you're like a little bit disappointed in yourself. But just because you're not reading as much as everyone else is reading, which honestly, like, people on book Twitter and on booktube read so fast, and it's actually very intimidating. I don't understand it myself, but read at your own pace, because otherwise you're probably not going to enjoy it. Like, don't worry about what other people are doing. Just do you, do what makes you feel comfortable. Nowadays, everyone's like posting their wrap-ups, and it's like 30,000 books in a month, and so many other people feel inadequate. And I'm like, but you're reading. Like, who cares how fast you're reading? You're reading. You should be happy with that. You should be proud of yourself for that. The more pressure you put on yourself to read, the harder it is going to be for you to actually read. Just don't worry about it. Don't put so much pressure on yourselves. Y'all are so mean to yourselves. You always be like, I'm not reading. Like, man, I've been in a reading slump too, and it sucks because I love reading, but the harder on yourself you are, the worse it's going to be. We don't want it to not be fun. Confessions of a book nerd. Here we go. I have never read the Harry Potter books. You know what? I'm gonna stop you right there. That's amazing. Good for you. This is a Harry Potter anti-account, so I'm proud of you. In my defense, when the books were at the height of popularity, I was a part of a large Christian Christian family and community, and if you remember when they became big, most religious people went overboard about protecting their kids from reading them because all they knew about them was that they involved magic and wizardry, and so that was all they needed to label them as witchcraft and the devil's work. Like, I actually remember being on a youth trip and my pastor bringing up something about along the lines of, anyway, I'm sorry, that sentence just went right through my head. Like, I did not comprehend that at all. Anyway, times have changed, and most religious parents, including mine, believe as long as you can tell the difference in reality and fiction, it's safe to let your imagination have fun. But alas, the damage is done, and all the hype and movie spoilers have ruined them for me, so I will sadly never get to them. I don't think it's sad. I think you dodged a bullet. I like audiobooks because I can get through them faster than I get to more books. Wait, I like audiobooks because I can get through them a lot faster and then I get to more books. But I find that when I listen to books instead of reading, it's easier to get distracted and I don't remember the book as well because I didn't really absorb it. You know what? That's a good point. I feel like this is a lot of people's issues with audiobooks. And I am similar because I love audiobooks. I actually don't think I can read without audiobooks anymore. It's like I forgot how to read. If I don't have an audiobook, I stare at the page. Like, what do I do? I don't know. Well, I can understand like getting distracted, but I feel like when I put my audiobooks on a super high speed, it forces me to pay attention because I know I'm gonna miss stuff and I don't like to go back. So I like force myself to pay attention. And I realized this doesn't work for everyone. Like, I listen to my audiobooks on 3 times speed and people are like, how do you even know what they're saying? And I'm like, you know what? You get used to it after a little bit. But the faster I listen, the more inclined I am to pay attention and the less distracted I get. It's like I've trained myself. I feel like there needs to be an audiobook training period because when I first started listening to audiobooks, I was listening on 1 time speed and then I just slowly increased it because it just felt too slow. And so now I'm up to 3 times speed. Anything slower than that, it bothers me. It doesn't feel right. What really helps is if you have the book in front of you physically, either the ebook or the physical book, because then you can read along and distractions are pretty minimal that way. At least they are for me. I'm in love with Percy from Harry Potter. You know, when I first read this, I thought this was Percy Jackson and I was like, Percy Jackson is in Harry Potter? Wow. Like, I know I never finished those series, but I'm confused. You know what? I can't read any more Harry Potter confessions. I just can't. I mean, I don't want to. Based on all the posts and photo edits I saw, I thought the Darkling was just a really hot guy with antlers. He has antlers? Wait, what edits give the Darkling antlers? You know what, you guys? I never got far enough into the Shatter Me. Oh my God. I never got far enough into the Shadow and Bone series to understand the stag's significance or why there are antlers everywhere. Why is there a deer? Why are there antlers? Does the Darkling have antlers? According to this person, he does. What's going on? Shadow. Oh my God. I was gonna say Shadow and Bone fandom, are you okay? But I think the real question is, Hayley, are you okay? Am I okay? I don't know. I always feel a sense of shame when so many others love a book that I just can't get into. Yeah, honestly, I did it first too, but then I realized I just have superior taste. You probably do too. It's okay. You don't like something that everybody else likes. Okay, your taste is different and it's probably better. You should not be ashamed. Just embrace it. You're better than everyone. We're better than everyone. Life would be really boring if everyone liked the same things. There would be no discourse. There would literally never be any arguing on book Twitter. And I know I complain about it a lot, but at least it keeps things interesting, you know? Although I love the Harry Potter series and I'm a diehard fan, I don't think J.K. Rowling is the greatest author. Is this a joke? I'm gonna laugh because I'm gonna assume it's a joke. That has to be a joke, right? Like, we know that J.K. Rowling is an awful person, right? I guess not everyone knows, but I hope that's a joke. I hate the way Sarah J. Maas treats her female characters. They deserve better than that. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't understand why there are so many male characters in her books to begin with. If she made like 90% of her male characters female, I just think her books would be better. She does put her female characters through a lot of bad stuff. But also, like, it's a book. I think everyone in her books goes through bad things. I don't know why I'm out here trying to defend her. Recently, I realized that pages in a book kind of turn me on. Yeah! Excuse me? But let me get more specific. The real thin pages that you feel are delicate and smooth get to me touch-wise, while visually the ones with gilded edges get to me. Wait, like, you're physically turned on by a book? Wow, taking book lover to a whole new level, honestly. Good for you. I've spent the past week trying so hard to read any novel written by John Green and I just can't. I don't know what it is, but I can't get into it and feel like I'm going against everything Tumblr believes in. And please don't hurt me, but seriously, overrated. I can't. Not please don't hurt me. Is this person okay? When was this posted? Because I don't know if they posted anything after that. That's not good. I hope that Tumblr didn't go for that person. I mean, I agree with them. I am also not a fan of John Green. I mean, John Green had middle schoolers wrapped around his little neck. Wait, he had people in a chokehold in middle school. That man was on fire with The Fault in Our Stars, and I have to say, I think I fell victim. We were all victims. It's okay. We can admit it now. We will all support each other and heal. I feel like a lot of people nowadays, like, they don't really read him. I don't hear people talk about him anymore and his work. But back in middle school, he was all the hype. Definitely don't think I'll ever read one of his books again, though. I don't vibe with his writing. It just feels really pretentious, you know? And you don't need to apologize for not liking someone's books. It's just your opinion. Though I'm scared that Tumblr came for you. It's not even the please don't come for me. It's please don't hurt me. Like, that's very specific. I hope you're okay. Guys, on some books, I need spoilers to encourage me to finish the book. Exactly. No, because same. Spoilers just make everything better. Like, they just give me motivation to read. I'm like, oh my God, this is about to happen. Well, how's it gonna happen? I want to know. And then I keep reading and I get excited. How do people not understand that? Some people like to know nothing going into a book, which I do think that is fun sometimes, but knowing a few things and knowing what's gonna happen and not knowing how it's gonna happen, that's exciting. Like, you can't lie. That is exciting. I didn't like the Hunger Games books or movies, but I think the fandom is incredibly intelligent, fun, and generally welcoming. Oh, that's nice. And actually, I agree with that. The Hunger Games fandom, so chill. Am I in it? No. But I always see them every once in a while, and I'm like, wow, they are just such nice, kind people. ACOTAR fandom could literally never. Is the Hunger Games fandom even on Twitter? They're probably too civil for Twitter. I can't believe you didn't like those books though. That's sad. Sometimes I'll consider a book to be my favorite even if I haven't read it yet because I know I'll love it when I do finally read it. Wait, someone said me too to this. How does that work if you haven't read it? No, because that's some dangerous territory because you could read that book and it could suck. Or like your expectations are so high, you're immediately disappointed. Oh, that's the worst. No, see, that's why I try and never have expectations. But saying that a book is your favorite when you haven't even read it, that's like the max amount of expectations you could even have. That would stress me out. Oh my God. Anyway, I feel like that's enough for now. I hope you all enjoyed those confessions. I mean, they were interesting. Tumblr definitely thinks differently than a lot of my followers. That's fun. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like this video, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on these confessions, and I will see you next time with another video. Bye.